Hey, he knows how to play Mridanga? Go to bed. No. Mridanga? No. Okay. It's Mridanga players are rare species. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe.
Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe.
Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe.
Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe.
Jai Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaura Pimanande, Dayam Vishupad Paramahamsa, Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satta, Sri Simar, His Divine Grace, Chiraboy, Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Skandi Biti, Founder Charyas, Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Samavata Bhakta Vrinda ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Dainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sadrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayana Namaskritya
Dharam Shaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam
Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jaya Mudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat.
Anyam Sasyanam Maha.
This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Sri Advaita Gadadhara,
Advaita Gadadhara,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Mukam karoti vachalam pagom langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our morning Bhagavatam class, reading from Canto number 1, chapter 9, the passing away of Grandfather Bhishmadev. Whoever is translating should translate. You're not translating. What I say, what did I say?
Bhagavatam কত স্কন্ধে কি বলছে এগুলো
বলে দাও. You have to sit close to him and you have to whisper it because I'm not going to stop speaking. Yeah.
শ্রীমদ ভাগবতমের প্রথম স্কন্ধের
The passing away of Grandfather Bhishmadev. What text today?
46
প্রথম স্কন্ধের নবম অধ্যায়ের 47 নম্বর শ্লোক।
Yeah. Okay, 40. So if somebody has a copy, we can follow. 47, yes. Tustuvur Munayo Ristaha Krishnam Tad Guhya Namabihi Tatas Te Krishna Hridayaha Swasramam Prayayuhu Punaha Tustuvur Munayo Ristaha Krishnam Tad Guhya Namabihi Tataste Krishna Hridayaha Swasraman Prayayu Punaha Tustuvur Munayo Rista Krishnam Tad Guhya Namabihi Tataste Krishna Hridayaha Swasraman Prayayu Punaha Tustuvur Munayo Rista Krishnam Tad Guhya Namabihi Tataste Krishna Hridayaha
तदस्ते कृष्ण हृदयाः
स्वस्रमन् प्राययु पुनः
तुष्टुवोर्मुनया हिष्ठः
तुष्टुवोर्मुनयोरिष्टः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयः
स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः
स्वस्रमन् प्राययु पुनः
तुष्टुभुर्मुनयरिष्टः
तुष्टुवोर्मुनयोरिष्टः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्य नामभिः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः
स्वश्रमन् प्रयाहुः पुनः
तुष्टुभुर्मुनयरिष्टा
तुष्टुवोर्मुनयोरिष्टः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदया
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयः
शास्त्रमन् प्रयायु पुनः
स्वस्रमन् प्रययु पुनः
तुष्टुभुर्मुनयो हृष्टाः
तुष्टुवोर्मुनयोरिष्टः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयः
स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः
स्वस्रमन् प्राययु
तुष्टुभुर्मुनयो हृष्टः
तुष्टुवोर्मुनयोरिष्टः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयः
ततस्ते कृष्णहृदया
श्वासमान् प्रययुः पुनः
स्वस्रमन् tutusvuhu, satisfied. Munayah, the great sages, headed by Vyasadeva, etc. Ristaha, all in a happy mood. Huh?
Translate Bengali what meaning?
Yeah? Already you're translating?
Yes.
Okay. Krishnam, unto Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Tat, his, Guhya, confidential, Namabihi, by his holy name, etc. Tataha, thereafter, te, they, Krishnaridaya, persons who always hear Lord Krishna in their hearts. Svaasraman, in their respective hermitages. Hermitages. That is ashram, yes. Pravyayuhu, returned. Punaha, again. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna, who was present there, by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. Kindly repeat after me. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna, who was present there, by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. Purport. The devotees of the Lord are always in the heart of the Lord, and the Lord is always in the hearts of the devotees.
ভগবানের ভক্তরা সর্বদা
That's a very nice
ভগবানের হৃদয়ে থাকেন এবং
understanding.
ভগবান সর্বদা ভক্তদের হৃদয়ে থাকেন।
That is the sweet relation between the Lord and his devotees.
এটাই ভগবান ও তার ভক্তদের মধ্যে মধুর সম্পর্ক।
Due to unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord, the devotees always see him within themselves.
ভগবানের প্রতি অকৃত্রিম ভালোবাসা ও ভক্তির কারণে
And the Lord also, although he has nothing to do and nothing to aspire to, is always busy in attending to the welfare of his devotees. For the ordinary living beings, the law of nature is there for all actions and reactions. But he is always anxious to put his devotees on the right path. The devotees, therefore, are under the direct care of the Lord. And the Lord also voluntarily puts himself under the care of his devotees only. So all the sages headed by Vyasadeva were devotees of the Lord. And therefore they chanted the Vedic hymns after the funeral ceremony just to please the Lord, who was present there personally. All the Vedic hymns are chanted to please the Lord. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15. So, what is 15:15? 15:15. Yes. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sanivisto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Translation: I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Prabhupada is quoting this verse. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc., are seeking him only, and all hymns are for glorifying him only. The sages therefore performed the exact acts suitable for the purpose, and they happily departed for their respective hermitages or ashrams. Translation again. All the great sages then glorified Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna, who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. So the word guhya is in the verse. Guhya means confidential. So, just like Krishna is explaining in the Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshava Gamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyayam. The sages, this is describing this last Leela of grandfather Bhishmadev after the battle of Kurukshetra, leaving his body. So many sadhus, sages were there. And after Bhishmadev left his body, they chanted so many Vedic hymns. Because it is in the Vedas especially,
বেদে এটা দেওয়া আছে,
that we can find
আমরা দেখতে পারি
confidential subject matters describing the Lord.
গুচ্ছ গুচ্ছ স্তোত্রগুলি ভগবানের স্তুতি করার জন্য দেওয়া আছে।
There are many scriptures in the world,
অনেক
isn't it?
শাস্ত্র আছে,
Actually, most of the scriptures or all of the scriptures are quite recent. Like the Bible, 2,000-year-old. Islam is also recent.
রিসেন্ট
Even Buddhism is only 2,500 years old.
2000 বছর পুরানো বাইবেল।
But the Vedas, how old are the Vedas?
The birth, the beginning of the creation of your universe.
No, the Vedas are eternal.
কিন্তু বেদ
Sanatan.
Sanatan, yes.
Sanatan.
That's why we call it Sanatan Dharma. So,
ধর্ম বলি।
Hare Krishna. Because the Vedas are eternal, therefore they are the most authoritative. They are the most bona fide.
বেদ নিত্য, সেই জন্য এটি গ্রহণযোগ্য।
True, not true?
True.
True, yes. They are the most bona fide, and why they are the most bona fide?
কেন বেদ সর্বগ্রহণযোগ্য?
Because they are directly spoken, given by Lord Krishna.
কারণ এটি ভগবান কৃষ্ণ দ্বারা প্রত্যক্ষভাবে দেওয়া হয়েছে।
And because they are given by Lord Krishna, who is described in the Vedas as the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, therefore all that knowledge is perfect and
ভগবান
complete.
কৃষ্ণ দ্বারা দেওয়ার কারণে এটা বেদ সর্বভাবে সঠিক।
So, Guhyam means
গুচ্ছ মিন
confidential.
গুচ্ছ মানে গোপনীয়।
Means if we actually want to know and understand about God,
যদি আমরা ভগবান কৃষ্ণ
we
সম্পর্কে
must come to the Vedas.
আমরা বেদকে আগে জানতে হবে।
We cannot get the complete, full understanding of God in other scripture.
আমরা অন্য শাস্ত্র থেকে ভগবান সম্পর্কে সম্পূর্ণরূপে জানতে পারবো না।
Something we can get, but not the full picture.
কিছু জানতে পারবো কিন্তু সম্পূর্ণ জানতে পারবো না।
Just like everyone has been to school, there, and you have read some dictionary.
Yeah.
So there is what is called abridged version, and then the full version,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
আমরা সবাই স্কুলে যাই কিন্তু সেখানে
isn't it?
ডিকশনারি ছোট ভার্সন থাকে, ছোট
So
এবং বড় ভার্সন থাকে।
all of the scriptures, they are abridged like a bridge dictionary.
Yeah.
And the Vedas is the original full dictionary.
Yeah.
বেদ সম্পূর্ণরূপে প্রসারিত।
And usually the abridged dictionary is smaller,
Yeah.
isn't it? A smaller book
Yeah.
because it has less
শাস্ত্রগুলি সম্পূর্ণ,
information.
Yeah.
কিন্তু বেদ সম্পূর্ণরূপে প্রসারিত, আনলিমিটেড।
So what is better, to consult a abridged dictionary or the full dictionary?
কোনটা সঠিক, ছোট ডিকশনারি না বড় ডিকশনারি?
Full dictionary,
ফুল ডিকশনারি, বড়
isn't it? Because in that full dictionary we will find all the words, all complete
খুঁজে পাবো।
understanding. Of course, that's a material example, so it's not perfect. It's not complete and perfect. But Krishna's dictionary, the Vedas, they're like, they are original, complete, and perfect. Hare Krishna, a great personality is setting foot amongst our midst. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Prabhupada ki. A garland all the way from Hyderabad. No, no. Hare Bol. Welcome to Sridham Prabhu ki. Jai. You're traveling alone?
Shivanand is here.
He's here, right? Okay. You can sit on this side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that, yeah. Hare Krishna. We are at the tail end of the chapter, the passing away of Grandfather Bhishmadev. Very wonderful prayers in that chapter. In the previous chapter also we studied the prayers of Queen Kunti, you know. So this verse today is describing how after Grandfather Bhishmadev instructed Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Grandfather Bhishmadev was fully satisfied to be in the presence of Lord Krishna, to be in the presence of the Pandavas. So he left his body as ordained. As ordained means according to his free will, as we know, he had received that benediction. You're not translating, huh? No, it's okay. Another great soul. Jai Shivananda Sen Prabhu ki. Hare Krishna. Ram and Shiv. So then the sages who had all assembled, they began to recite. They were very happy to be present when such a great personality like Grandfather Bhishmadev, because they also heard all the instructions that Grandfather Bhishmadev gave to Yudhishthira Maharaj. In this chapter, we're only getting like a very, very brief summary of what Grandfather Bhishmadev spoke. The full detailed version actually is in the Mahabharata. And that is actually quite extensive, very extensive. Because how long or how many days did Grandfather Bhishmadev speak? You're a researcher. Researchers are supposed to have answers to questions like this. You should try to find out, how many days did Grandfather Bhishmadev speak? Because he left, another question also, on which day, there were 18 days, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought for 18 days. On which day did Grandfather Bhishmadev fall on his bed of arrows?
10th day.
Huh?
10th day.
10th day. You're sure?
Yes,
You're sure, huh? Something like that. Because there were different, he was commander-in-chief. He was like the first commander. Then he was replaced after by Dronacharya. Then Dronacharya, what day did he leave?
14th day, I think.
14th day, I think. And then who took up after?
No, I don't think 14th. I think 17th day.
And then who took up after Karna?
Karna and
And Ashvatham. Oh, he was the last one.
Yeah, no, he was not last one.
No. How many generals there were there? They went through different generals.
After Ashwathama, Shell is taking from half day.
Okay. Anyways, the point I want to make is that Grandfather Bhishmadev, from the day he fell down, he stayed at that place. Of course, the battle of Kurukshetra continued for so many other days. If he fell on the 10th day, it continued for 8 days. And that happened, when do we celebrate Gita Jayanti?
In the month of December.
Generally in the month of December. It varies because of the Tithi. So sometimes what is the Gita Jayanti for this year? Anyone know? We should be ahead of ourselves here. Gita Jayanti. Only those who are really preparing for the book marathon, you should know. Sometime in December, yeah. So the point I'm making is that Grandfather Bhishmadev, we know, had a benediction to leave his body at will. And he was waiting for the most auspicious moment, which is Uttarayana, which happens every year on what date?
14, 15 January.
Yes, 14th or 15th. So that means that if it was early December, I don't know, we can find out actually. We can actually,
This year it's December 11th.
11th, yeah. No, but my question is, what tithi, what date was it? No, 5,000 years ago.
We need some
5,000 years ago.
algorithm.
Huh?
We need some program, some algorithm.
Well, no, there are programs. That's another part of research. In other words, we should find out what was the day. You know, Uttarayana doesn't change. But the day that Grandfather Bhishmadev fell on his bed of arrows, that we should know. What day?
5,000 years ago, there is no days, there is Tithi also.
You're speculating. You don't know. People can calculate when did Kali Yuga begin. If they can calculate when Kali Yuga began, they can calculate when the Battle of Kurukshetra took place, etc. Yeah. We know what is Krishna. How many years? How old was Krishna when he left the planet like that? So the point I'm making is that Bhishmadev was on his bed of arrows for many weeks, not just one day, not just 1 week, but maybe up to 4 weeks. I don't know. If he left, for example, if he fell on his bed of arrows let's say on the 10th of December that year, 5,000, whatever it is, then for that many days up until January the 14th or the 15th, whatever it was that year also, he was on his bed of arrows, and every day the Pandavas, they would come to hear of him. This is part of history. We should know. We don't need to bother so much about modern history, but we should know Vedic history. Vedic history. Anything that's connected with Krishna, Vedic history means connected with Krishna, is important for us to know. This is what we will teach in our Gurukul. We don't need to know all the details about Adolf Hitler and all of these Mussolinis and all of those militia leaders of Kali Yuga who are not at all inspirational and who know very little, if they know nothing about Dharma. So this verse is nicely mentioning how these sages, they were all devotees of Krishna actually. They all understood Krishna as being the Supreme Lord. This is how it's described here, and they glorified him. With confidential hymns. See, this is a important point. Vedas, only Vedas contain confidential hymns or confidential information. That's why our Varnashram colleges and our Gurukulas should be based on Vedic curriculum, on curriculum that is based from our Shastra. Because all we need to learn, all we need to know, both in terms of material subjects as well as spiritual subject matters, is there in the Vedas. Computers you won't find in the Vedas because it's modern technology which is leading us away more and more. Prabhupada explains how most of modern technology and machinery that we are caught up in our modern society, the more we become involved and dependent especially, then we become, in so many ways, we go away from Vedic understanding. Of course, we should add that we can utilize, Prabhupada utilized, the nice story, Prabhupada used to, before going to America, and also in the first 1 year or so, Prabhupada used to translate by writing, isn't it? And there was one devotee, Gargamuni, he tells a story. Gargamuni, this was very, very early days, like maybe 1966, 67. So one day he asked Prabhupada, what are we supposed to do? You know, Prabhupada had just started the movement in New York, 26 Second Avenue. And it was very nice because young people were starting to come and they were taking prasadam every day. They had this.
1965 সালে আমেরিকায় গিয়েছিলেন এবং 1967 সালে এক বছর ওখানে আমেরিকার গার্ডেনে
And Prabhupada seemed to be always busy doing different things and giving class, and he was busy in his office, not office, in his room. So he asked this question, what are we supposed to do for you?
তারা প্রভুপাদের কাছে জিজ্ঞেস করেছিল আমরা আপনার জন্য কি করতে পারি
Then Prabhupada says, whatever, in whatever way you can help in our mission. I mean, Prabhupada was talking about mission. Devotees didn't know really much.
তখন ইসকন মিশন সম্পর্কে বলেছিলেন
So then, Gargamuni, he was thinking, Prabhupada every day, he's spending so many hours, translating and writing.
তারা তখন দেখলেন প্রভুপাদ
So one day he was walking on the street
সময় ব্যয় করেন
in front of a small store window. He saw there some machine. What was it called? A dictaphone. Dictaphone in those days were like new. So he saw this dictaphone, so he went inside the store and he asked the person, what is this machine?
তখন
And the person told him, this is used by lawyers and people who have a lot of work to do. And then Gargamuni, he was telling, well, Prabhupada has a lot of work to do. And so he thought, I'll get this machine for Prabhupada to help him.
এবং স্বর্গমণি প্রভু
So then he said, I think the machine cost maybe $150 or $200.
সাহায্য করবে
So he got the machine and he brought it to Prabhupada. And he,
এবং তিনি প্রভুপাদের
and he had spent 1 or 2 hours, learning from the seller how to operate the machine. So he brought it to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, this machine
ডিক্টাফোন মেশিন সম্পর্কে
can help you to translate more quickly.
থেকে জিজ্ঞাসা করেছেন
And then let me explain to you how it works. And then before he could actually start explaining to Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, no, just leave it with me, it's okay. So he had spent like 2 hours trying to figure out how it works. And within no time, Prabhupada on his own, he learned how to operate the machine. Yeah. So the point is that we are extremely fortunate because similar to these sadhus who heard from Krishna, actually who heard from Bhishma Dev, and who were devotees of Krishna,
ঋষিদের মতো যারা কৃষ্ণের ভক্ত ছিলেন
they all returned to their different ashrams singing the glories of the Lord. That's why mantras and hymns, that's why in Gurukul especially we learn different mantras. Vedic culture, Brahmanas, they're meant to know mantras. They're meant to know not just by heart mantras but also the meaning. So Srila Prabhupada in so many ways was and is our ideal Brahmana who recited, we are reading, have the benefit of Prabhupada's recitation of the confidential hymns, Guhya, of the confidential hymns of the Vedas.
গোপনীয় বৈদিক স্তোত্রে উদ্ধারণ করেছেন
And what is one of the most confidential hymns of the Vedas?
বেদের সবচেয়ে গোপনীয়
Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
It is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes.
They distribute the confidential knowledge to everyone.
Yes. That is following in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu. No one, the highest, actually, what is the highest confidential knowledge in the Vedas?
সবচেয়ে গোপনীয় তথ্যটা কি
Prabhupada gives a reference in the Bhagavad Gita.
এটা ভগবদ গীতায় দিয়েছে
Yeah. Sarvasasaham ridi sani visto matasmitir gyanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo, Vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. That is the most confidential knowledge in the Vedas, that Krishna is within the heart of all living entities. He is giving us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness, and He is the
এই শ্লোকটি সবচেয়ে গোপনীয় তথ্য যেটা
goal and the object of Vedic knowledge.
সকলের হৃদয়ে থাকেন এবং
That's why Lord Brahma is telling Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Madhyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. What is that? Vedeshu Dolabam Adolabam Atma Bhakto. Means Vedeshu Dolabam. Simply by reading Vedas alone, without proper guidance or direction,
ভগবান কৃষ্ণকে জানার
without being in Guru Parampara, we cannot understand
কেউ যদি
what is in the Vedas. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu, we are following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave this knowledge, as we know, to who especially? To whom did Lord Chaitanya give this knowledge? Rupa and Sanatan, isn't it? So we are Rupanugas. We are meant to be Rupanugas. What is the meaning of Rupanuga? Followers, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. Yes. So that means what is taking place in the world today is actually magic and a miracle. Means all the most confidential knowledge of the Vedas is being distributed by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. And his most recent confidential follower is His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who has put all of this knowledge. Prabhupada, he would explain that my emotional ecstasies, my Bhaktivedanta purports are my emotional ecstasies. Yeah. So if we want, that means if we want to actually understand Srila Prabhupada, we should be hearing, especially his purports. We should be distributing his purports. Just recently, the Bhadra Purnima event took place. What was the final count in terms of how many sets of Bhagavatam were distributed during Bhadra Purnima all over the world?
Still counting.
Still that many, huh? In India, any idea?
No, not yet.
Because in India, it's the most difficult to count.
Yes.
Probably the largest number of sets. What was the goal?
68K.
68,000. Actually, the goal in a few years is 1 lakh, 100,000 sets, not books. Sets. Every Bhagavatam class, how many books in one set?
18 volumes.
18 volumes. So 68,000 sets, you multiply by 18. Hare Krishna. That is taking place all the time within our ISKCON society. Book distribution, which was the foremost activity in the very beginning, still remains a most important activity. So there are 4 things regarding books that we should know. What are the 4 things that we should know regarding books? Actually, regarding transcendental books, regarding Prabhupada's books. What devotees understood in the very beginning. What did devotees first and foremost understood about books? Distribute. Isn't it? Prabhupada was telling, distribute. So devotees were distributing. But then one fine day Prabhupada asked, you're distributing my books, I'm very happy and very pleased. But are you reading my books? And many said, we don't have time. Anyways, Prabhupada made the point, it is very good to distribute books, but also you have to read my books. And then, more recently, one devotee who was appointed as ZBC a few years back, he said, it is very nice to distribute books. It is very good to read the books. are we studying the books? So he brought the whole aspect, the importance of not only distributing books, not only reading books, but also studying, systematically studying books. Oh, okay, now we have to distribute books, we have to read books, and we have to study the books. And then there's a fourth one. What's the fourth one?
We have to live according to the.
Yes. Not only we have to distribute the books, not only we have to read the books, not only we have to study the books, we have to live the books. We have to live the philosophy that is in the books, isn't it? That would require another Bhagavatam class. But we have to live in terms, actually that's one of the important instructions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Sravana Maturavasa. Living the books means Maturavasa. Maturavasa means living in Mathura. But we cannot, we're here in Mayapur, how we can live in Mathura?
According to the books.
According to the books. Yes, we can live in Mathura anywhere. If we cultivate the spirit, isn't it? The mood, the mentality of the residents of Vrindavan. We can live in Mathura, Vrindavan, everywhere. And what else can we do? We can create villages like Vrindavan. We can transform our existing villages in India and all over the world as like Vrindavan. Then we are actually fully, completely living in Vrindavan, where we are growing our own food, where we are looking after cows, where we are hearing every day, not on the tape recorder, but we are actually hearing the sound of the peacocks early in the morning. We have to do something here about Mayapur, because all we hear is jackals. There should be, somebody must have brought this up at some point. Why Mayapur has jackals? Why? Mayapur is Gupta Vrindavan. Mayapur is Gupta Vrindavan, and sure enough, the peacocks are hiding. Vrindavan is hidden in Mayapur, and therefore the peacocks are not. The jackals have taken over. So I'm reading the text since we are close to the end of our kata this morning. Still a few minutes. So this is the text to 47. There are only 2 more verses that we will read, in the next few days. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna, who was present there, by confidential Vedic hymns. Very important, confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages or ashrams, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. So it is by chanting Vedic hymns, by speaking about Krishna, that we will be able to remember Krishna, and also because Krishna is seated within our hearts. And in this way, susukam kartam avyayam. This is how we can become susukam, very satisfied, very happy in practicing Krishna consciousness. So any questions, comments, objections, reservations, realizations? Bolo? Realization. Yes, tell us your realization.
The Vedic Yuga.
Vedic?
Vedic Yuga.
Huh?
Before Kali Yuga.
Okay, before Kali Yuga.
Everyone has to find Krishna here in the chaya of trees, in the mountains and in the water, but after that he knows that Krishna is in the heart, and he is the very confidential knowledge. But in the Kali Yuga, everyone knows Krishna is in the heart of everyone. Ishvara Hriday Deshi Tishtati.
Yes, yes.
With the mercy of Prabhupada, the realization of him.
Okay. Yes. So your point is that before before Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita,
Yes,
the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita was lost. But since Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, which is still present in Kali Yuga, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and of course Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are getting that most confidential knowledge. So we are more fortunate than people in previous yugas. In this yuga, in this Kali Yuga, we are more fortunate than people in previous yuga. Because mostly people in previous yugas were like yogis or mystics looking for Krishna. In this Kali Yuga, Krishna has been revealed very easily. It's been revealed first by Krishna at the end of Dwapara, and this knowledge has been carried into Kali Yuga, and again, especially revived by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and given to us very nicely in a simple language by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam and so many other books. So yes, means we are most fortunate because we have access, isn't it? We have access to the most confidential knowledge. We have access to the Raja Vidya. Yes.
Guhitam Vidya.
Yes. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, most confidential knowledge. And that is why we need to establish educational institutions to train young boys like him, your son, into Vedic knowledge, Vedic confidential knowledge. Good point. Good realize. Any other point? Yes.
Are there such confidential hymns, Guru Maharaj, in like the four Vedas themselves, like the four original Vedas, or they are mainly found in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita?
There is, okay, question whether there is confidential knowledge in the four original Vedas. Everything comes from the original four Vedas, but it has been expanded, and because one needs to be highly qualified to actually enter into the knowledge of the four Vedas. First of all, it's in very high level Sanskrit. We were discussing, I think. And nowadays practically no one knows that particular level of Sanskrit. And it's just like, you know, the Mahamantra is concealed in the Vedas. The Mahamantra we don't find in the Bhagavad Gita. Mahamantra we don't find in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we need to take guidance from our acharyas who, just like we are taking guidance from the Goswamis, who were particularly, we could say, empowered to extract from all the Vedic literatures, both the original Vedas and the supplementary Vedas, the knowledge that we are receiving today. And what we cannot appreciate or understand is that the highest form of knowledge, the most confidential knowledge, the most confidential knowledge has been given to the most unqualified people. How much mercy, isn't it? Otherwise, we are Kali Yuga species are like poof, hopeless case. Now we have some hope. We have some hope if we attend Bhagavatam class, if we attend Mangalarati, if we chant Hare Krishna. all of these activities, yes, will increase our. When Prabhupada gives a lecture, I think number 6 of the series of Nectar Devotion, and that lecture probably should be entitled "The Fortunate Lecture." Why? Because Prabhupada there, he explains, he repeats that word fortunate, fortunate, many, many times, at least maybe 20 times, if not more. And at one point he says, and the devotees of Krishna, they are the most fortunate. Prabhupada was very expert in presenting his topics. Even if you listen to Prabhupada's, one of his last instructions in Vrindavan, when he can hardly speak, he's still giving that, stressing words, So Prabhupada was so fully absorbed. He was. It comes out very nicely. A very unique way. When he speaks, and that you can hear it actually, the recording where he mentions about, to the surprise of many, that people need to be brought. The word brought, he emphasizes, people need to be brought to the mode of goodness, because everyone is suffering due to tamagun and rajagun, rajas tamas. And in order for people to be brought, you there? To be brought to the mode of goodness, therefore varnashram is necessary. Yeah. Not my words, Prabhupada's words, you can look on the folio. And Prabhupada makes a nice point also about classless society. What is that perfect classless society?
Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Huh?
Shri Vrindavan.
Yes. Sri Vrindavan Dham is that perfect classless society. That also needs another class, Bhagavatam class.
What is the meaning of classless?
You are here, you missed a few lessons.
Hindi meaning I want to know.
Yeah. So he will explain to you after the class. After the class, he will explain to you about classless society. Because it's the end of the class now. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Pimanande.